All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. I've asked if it's okay if I can spend the first 15 minutes just talking about my new favorite reality television show, The Traitors. I spent 10 minutes last night at Star Simba Room talking about it, but I don't think that was a sufficient amount of time to really express my love for it.
So can you start from like the absolute beginning for me?
Yes, me too. Me too.
Dollars. Oh my god, it's so good. God, Alan coming. Dollars, murder. So we started watching the Australian version last night. Not as good. Not as good. Like, there's good news, bad news situation. Bad news, no Alan coming. So, I mean, I'm sure the guy who's hosting is a perfectly fine gentleman, but he doesn't live life the way Alan Cumming lives life. Like, it's just not the same. The good news is all the people, normal people, they're not the crazy reality television show lunatics. So that was kind of good. That was kind of good. Other bad news, hour and 20 minutes for a first episode. It's a reality television show. What are you doing? Why is this taking an hour and 20 minutes? Absolutely insane.
It was
absolutely
so
insane.
It was so
also the hotel that they're staying in, not as glamorous as that Scottish hotel for the US version. So I'm not saying, that the US is better than Australia.
Scottish castle.
Yeah. So we got some friends who live out in Aussie that watch our show. So get it together. Get it together. Anyhow. I can keep going. I seriously can't. I don't think Long's happy right now.
My favorite phrase, though, was the electrician came on and said, like, I'm a Sparky.
The Sparky,
like,
yeah. Honestly, if the US would call electrician Sparkies, I probably would have gone into that field growing up. But it's not fun. I'm really curious what they call like carpenters. They're like carpies or woodies, something like that. If you're an Australian fan, write in the comments. Let us know. Anyhow, we're back to playing deltagreen. What's that? What do we need?
We need more lingo.
We do.
Yeah,
we do.
I think we should keep talking about it, frankly.
I mean, I can tell you some Australia lingo I've been told, but I don't think it's safe for stream.
No, that's not.
Melissa knows. I know something we shouldn't say. We should say the street. Oh, goodness. Anyhow, why don't we go ahead and start it? We got deltagreen to play. We are continuing our fun times, and I think it's 2013 Wilmington, North Carolina. And we ended on some doozies of cliffhangers. And so we will, not really, I would say, not cliffhangers so much as big moments. And so we'll have to get back into that. But before we do, let's go ahead and say hi to the people that are going to be dying tonight. So let's start with Long. Long, tell us about Agent Inferno.
Agent Inferno, yeah? Grew up in an Italian family. Wanted me to take over the pizza parlor. But I'm proving myself out here as a DEA agent. Or ex. As I've been fired.
Yes, you were fired. You were.
But you're proving myself as a DEA agent.
Yeah,
I was trying to prove myself as a DEA agent and was fired.
Didn't you get into? I can't remember. Did you get into like private investigation, or did you get into crime up in like Buffalo or something? Did you like go upstate New York or something for a bit? Like,
yeah, it was like crime stuff, investigating.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Private. Okay. All right, fair enough. I thought maybe you turn to a life of crime. And you're going to start torching competing pizza parlors to make sure your family's, which is being funded by illegal money that you found inside of a green box many years ago. I'm sure that will never come back to haunt.
Everything's fine.
Right. Everything's fine. Everything's great. You talked to your parents recently? Anyhow. Melissa, go ahead and tell us about Agent Fuller House.
Yes, Agent Fuller is a medical examiner. And she's been quite distressed and irritated by the haunting that seems to have befallen her. And I will interested to see how we are processing the end of last episode.
Cool. Next up, my turn. Tell us about Agent Ray. How's she doing?
Agent Ray has had a no good, very bad, terrible day. And that ended with a horrible dream with a woman leering over her, saying that, she was there at her birth, she'll be there at her death. It's probably fine. Like, she's probably just making small talk. Like, that's how hags make small talk, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that wasn't comforting. Like, don't worry, I was there when he was born. I'll be there when he
Transcribe
died.
that.
wasn't
was
comforting.
Pleasantries.
Interesting. We don't got time for pleasantries on this channel. None of that shit. Okay. Next up, Steven has entered into a specific zone. There he goes. Tell us about Vin.
I'm playing Vincent Palmer, CIA, retired. Also goes by the name Arnie Price. You could say I'm the backbone of the group, the spine. You know, I carry everyone throughout every campaign I play, but this one specifically. Yeah, I guess I'm just like the boss of the group is a good way to describe it.
Sorry, I had myself muted so they didn't hear me making fun of you. Insert random passive aggressive undercutting of Steven's character. All right, next up, Ashley, tell us about Agent Weaver.
I'm playing Agent Blair Weaver. She is not a professor of anthropology in this campaign, unfortunately, but that would be really fucking cool. No, she's in emotional distress. She had a weird night. She stayed up late reading like just this really just thick text. Super academic, kind of not really her thing. Yeah, Jeff, thick. And and then she had like this horrible nightmare, and then she spoke to Ronnie Lightside, Frank Ryder, and or at least that's what it felt like happened. And they've definitely totally been cursed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. All of that sounds 100% accurate. Okay.
Totally,
So,
100%.
let's dive into a night of murder. Okay. So last time around, we started last session with Ray and Young. They were in a car. Ray saw the reflection of the crone in the rearview mirror and promptly crashed the car. But Ray and Weaver were able to flee and just before the first responders arrived, etc. Elsewhere, Inferno and Fuller were inside Ronnie's green box because something about G-Cell. They see a green box, they take stuff out of the green box. That's just how it works. That's just how they play the game. And
you go to the green box. You take something out of the green box.
Yeah.
You don't put shit back in the green box.
It's like that, like take a book, leave a book, except you guys don't put no books. You ain't put no books in there. Anyhow.
You got no morals.
So inside, the crone that Fuller had seen disappeared. Lights came back on, etc. Fuller, you became very engrossed in all of these packages of socks, because of course you did. Inferno, you took a dodecahedron, some caviar, a bottle of booze. Fuller, you took a package of socks in the autobiography of a former Mexican president, and you also took some binoculars. Vin, you were back at the motel. Tapping sound woke you up from your daytime nap because you're an old man and that's what they do. Investigation revealed that there is the dead body of a large moth that was clutching to the windowsill inside the room. And the moth looked like the same kind of moth that Ronnie had pinned up in a display case on his shelves. And later, Fuller was able to confirm that Kurt Winter also had a very similar display. Ray and Young eventually did return. And we had this little reveal that Price and Ray knew each other and that Ray was once called Penny. So you guys were all reunited at the motel for a bit. Fuller, you started digging into Ronnie's research that you had gotten from, that actually I think Ray and Weaver had gotten from the bookstore, Nagel's Books. And it was basically a bunch of research into the building that he lived in and had all these stories about the deaths in it since the building's construction. And it included a photo of the Salmon sisters. And they were the women who founded the building, one of which was circled. Name was Elizabeth Salmon. And that face looked a hell of a lot like the face that's been haunting all of you. And also the face that was there arguing with Ronnie just before he died. Ray, you took a cab back to your hotel. Maitre thought that that was going to be nice and easy. No, that's not how this works. And when she arrived, she heard a flapping sound in the air above her. You notice a figure hanging from the hotel's wall. The lights of the parking lot went out one by one, left you in darkness. You chase after this figure that kind of peeled away and started floating in the wind. You pulled a gun on a family of 4 that were really just there to head down to Myrtle Beach. And you freaked them the hell out and you told them to leave, so they did. And then you eventually went to the bookstore and bought a copy of Penny's Boat because yours burnt up in your car accident. And that was about it. Vin in Inferno, you headed back to stake out the Villaggio. Vin, you bought some coffee from a Starbucks, but as you were walking back, you freaked out some like 20-something couple that were just like having fun on a street that had no lights. And when you got over there, you noticed that there was like a weird shadow. You chased that shadow because it seemed to move independently of anything that might have been casting it. It disappeared as you turned the corner onto like a normal main street where there were a bunch of lights. And that was that. Luca, you had a brief conversation with Todd Beach, who told you quit your weird shit. But you also saw a small flash in the window of the third floor, and it looked like someone was taking pictures of folks coming and going from the building. Eventually, the two of you headed inside. You went up to the fourth floor. You broke through this false wall that had been closed off because the apartments 14 and 15, and you got access to the fifth floor. And up on the fifth floor, you found some fire-damaged apartments that had apparently never been repaired. And all the time since the fire had damaged this place, you found a bunch of old debris and furniture, things like that. And you also noticed a shadow that seemed to detach itself from a physical body, tried to run back down into the building. As you guys were chasing Inferno, your foot broke through the floor. Vin, because he's a hero and he's the boss and he tells everyone what to do, turned around, gave you a hand. I was shocked, I tell you, that he did that. Elsewhere, back at the motel, Fuller, Ray, and Young, you were doing some reading. Fuller, you continuing to pour over Ronnie's notes. Young, you were going through that book about night terrors. Ray, you got your own room. Then you had, like you said, that hag attack dream, just like Vin and Inferno had experienced. However, you got spoke to. Elsewhere, at some point in the night, Young, you woke up after falling asleep when you were studying the book. The TV was flickering with static. Eventually formed into this classic black and white horror movie from old Hollywood. The door to the room burst open. There was this black shadow standing out in the hallway. No clear source for that shadow. You woke up Fuller, who did in fact awake, and the two of you tried to track the shadow, which quickly disappeared. You went downstairs and you found a familiar sight. You found Ronnie Lightside smoking his cigar, wearing this tropical shirt, and sitting in a chair by the pool. And he talked to you guys vaguely here and there, said that you all had seen her and that now she was coming for you. And he apologized, sorry kid, to Lisa Young over and over again. So that's where we ended. So we're going to pick up, not with that, because that we're going to delay it a little bit longer. We're going to pick up with Inferno and Price. It's about 1 a.m. So we're going to say it's about 1 a.m. for you. You guys are the fifth floor. You have no trouble getting Inferno's leg up and out of the floor. But when you look around, you have lost sight of that moving shadow. What do the two of you do at this point?
I think I would still feel a sense of urgency because we were chasing it. So even though I went back for Inferno, I would still want to head towards the direction I last saw the shadow going. Like it went around a corner or something, right? Or up a set of stairs?
Yeah, it went down the stairs. So you're on the fifth
Down
floor.
the stairs.
There is a set of stairs that go up to the roof, but then and there's like a trapdoor that goes up to the roof. But the last you saw, I would say, with your very high alertness, you probably saw the last flicker of it as it started to descend down the stairs. Sure, that's fine. So Price, yeah, you head down to the fourth floor. You hear, as you come down here, it's kind of getting, it's very late. The only you hear some sound coming from one of the apartments up here. The other, there's 4 apartments, but 2 of them aren't occupied. They were previously closed off until you guys ripped the door open or ripped the false wall open. But you do see lights on underneath the door of one of the apartments. Specifically, it is going to be, let me take a look really fast. This is apartment 16. And that's really the only thing of note that you can see up here.
I would not expect the shadow to go into a room that has lights. So I would look at 2 of the apartments that are closed off, and I think I would just pick whichever one's closest.
Okay. And then Inferno, what are you doing as you're free from the floor? Your leg is kind of scraped up here and there, but otherwise you're okay. What are you doing?
I'd like to head back down, put the door back as best as possible, just to cover up any evidence we've been there.
All right, give me as you try to cover up evidence. Do you have any kind of like heavy machinery skill or anything like that, or some other craft skill maybe?
I actually have
carpentry,
heavy machinery.
Okay,
dirty.
I was wondering if you were a carpy or a sparky or a plummy or something. Give us a heavy machinery.
Ooh, crit success.
I'll tell you what, you managed to grab, like, there's not a ton of tools up here, but maybe we'll say luckily there's like Todd maybe left one or two of his tools up here, and you're able with them and with your own know-how to try as best you can to put this false wall back up, create a plausible seal to make it look like it's not obviously utterly destroyed. Now, if anyone looks kind of closely, they'll notice, but like if they're just passing by, they probably won't. Okay. So Agent Price, you while Inferno is trying to repair the damage, you said you wanted to go over and check out these one of these other apartments. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So apartments 14 and 15. When you go into the first, you can tell that the door is like. The door into, say, apartment 14 is damaged. You can tell it's very, very old. Nothing's been replaced. Nothing's been replaced in 100 years. Like, that's how old this is. Like, this fire happened quite literally 100 years ago, 1913. And, Fuller would be able to kind of convey that at some point. But you're able to kind of shoulder in a bit. It takes a little second because everything's kind of like the wood sort of swollen. But once you do, it pops open and you just hear like a as the door opens up. When you look inside, like, it's dark. You have a flashlight, I'm sure. You're shining around. It's not a whole lot different from the apartments that you saw upstairs, except there is like less furniture you can see scattered about. It certainly looks like there is more damage to some of these than possibly some of the ones upstairs. You can tell that there were no real attempts that you can see as you're just scanning it for this ever to be remodeled or repaired. Like, you don't see like a half completed job. It's been left like this for forever. There's no light coming in from outside, as just like upstairs, all of the windows are like heavily boarded up. What do you want to do in here?
If it looks like this was possibly like the source of the fire, like it went up, I would just try to see if there are any spots that look like they've been burned more heavily, and also keep an eye out for shadow people.
Okay. I mean, your awareness is high enough that I'm presuming you're looking for shadow people. None seem to assault you as you do. You do notice that on the ceiling, on some of the walls, there are certain ones that are blacker than others, like as you can tell that they have likely had direct flame on them. Others are, you can tell, have been swollen. You can even see old wallpaper has peeled and blistered here and there. Some of the interior of the walls have been, splintered in such a way where you can kind of see the guts of each wall. The studs and such are kind of viewing. But as you move about, nothing shifts in a way that alarms you. Occasionally you hear like the rustling of something, maybe in a wall, but it's a building, it's old, it's probably, roaches or rodents or something like that. You kind of shine over and maybe you catch like the tail end of like a rat tail just like diving down the side of a wall, or you see a scurrying of a handful of roaches here or there, but nothing really jumps out at you.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would just spend a minute or two walking the whole thing, just taking my time, and then I would go in the other one just to be thorough.
Okay. And as you go through the second one, same basic thing. I will tell you one thing though. As you go into apartment 15, you do hear something suddenly. Like, it's not so much suddenly as it is very slowly and quietly and gradually. You just hear the sound of music playing. You don't think it's in this apartment. As you move around, you don't notice a source from it, but you start to hear it. And you realize like it's classical. Like it's not like anyone's playing like heavy metal or anything somewhere. And it's 1 a.m. or nearabouts. You can look at your watch or your phone or whatever, but you hear like this vague and distant sound of kind of classical music, almost like a waltz. Just beat, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, slowly. But it's almost imperceptible. But your alertness is so high, you do in fact hear it.
I don't think Vin would know much classical music, so I would softly call out for Luca, just to see if he can hear it too.
I'll give it a listen.
Where you're at, give me a roll as you are closer to the apartment of these college dudes, and you can hear sound. Maybe one of them's watching TV late at night or something like that.
This is the alertness.
Just give me an alertness. Yeah.
Okay. 13 under 74.
When you focus, it's harder for you to hear, but you definitely hear the sounds of what seems like late night television, but then underneath it, barely, you hear the sounds of like kind of a classical bit of music. It feels like it's just like far off, like it's nowhere near. But I will say because you guys are both so high in alertness and you rode so well, it feels more like it's coming from up than it's coming from down.
Luke, I hope you didn't screw that wall in too thoroughly.
Cover that thing
because we got to go back up.
Okay. Do you guys do it again? Do you guys rip it down?
Well, I mean, you only just put it back up. It couldn't be that difficult, right?
It's like we never came through.
Well, we can do it again. Do you recognize the song, Luca? I'm more of a Phil Collins guy.
Yeah, maybe something my grandmother would put on. She's a big classical fan.
Is she still alive? Could you call her, ask her what song it is?
No, it's 1 a.m. She's not going to pick up.
You know, old people, they stay up weird hours sometimes. Let's go upstairs.
You guys go back
If you
up.
insist.
Okay. If you head back up, the music does get a touch louder, but it definitely still feels extraordinarily distant here. But as you're tracking and moving around, you go into one of these rooms. You've been in before. They had, there's various furniture in various states of disrepair, old stuff that could, if it was in better condition, would probably fetch a good price for antiques. And you find a room where there's like a couple upholstered chairs and there's a couple small, tables and such, side tables, drink tables, etc. And you see sitting on one of them, there is a Victrola, one of those old-fashioned Victrolas. You see it's spinning. Like you can see it, and you hear like the vague sound of the music coming from the horn, the bell.
I'm gonna pretend like I know what the word Victrola is, and just assume
like an
you're
old
saying
record
a record player. There
It's
we
an
go.
old record player. That's fine. Jeez, I'm sorry. Let me dumb it down. Ugh.
Yeah, I'd go up and I'd pull the needle off and look at what it's playing.
Yeah, you head over, and I was going to get an image for you to share, but I don't have time. But you head over, and you can see that there, as you lift the, as you kind of go in and you kind of lift the arm, you realize there's no record here. Nothing's even moving, and as you lift the arm up, it just crumbles like it's in some sort of ash and soot, and then the music stops. Go ahead and roll Santas.
Oh, that's great. What is my sand? Oh, it's really high right now. Oh, I rolled a 3 though. Thank you, Norse Foundry. 3
Would you
under
roll
38.
But would you roll in the D10 or the D100? Excuse me.
The lolly.
Mhm.
Oh, you can't even see.
So you rolled 103.
No, no.
No, you're fine. You're keeping it together. But yeah, and then the sound immediately stops.
Fuck is this, Luca? You see this?
It's just black in there.
Can he not see it?
No, he can see the same thing you can see. Absolutely, it's all messed up and busted and etc. But you're the one who went up and broke it. So
yeah,
you got the roll of sand.
I will not touch it again because apparently it's very fragile and it's freaking me out.
Yeah.
But I would like to just look around, see if there's like a power source or anything. Nothing.
No, I was waiting for my asshole
yeah.
neighbor who has anyhow, as you look around, it's not plugged in. There's no cord. There's no power. There's nothing like that. It doesn't even seem to be working. It doesn't even seem to be functional.
Let's look around the room then.
It's the room we've been in, or a different one?
You have I gave you guys credit for literally going across the entirety of this floor.
So we've been here long enough. What
Someone's
more is there?
calling us back here, though. Let's go up one more floor. Let's go to the roof.
All right, let's see if I left it open.
So yeah, you guys can do that. Actually, that's not too difficult. You head up the stairs, go up into the ceiling, and then you basically just have to pop a hatch that gets you onto the roof itself. And when you get up there, there's no there's nothing that immediately catches your attention. There is there's what looks like a lot of like the usual things you would find on top of a roof. Like there's some debris here and there, bird shit, stuff like that. It doesn't look like anyone comes up here very often. On one side of the building, there is like the kind of the metal hook of the fire escape that comes up and over. You find a handful of various little like pipes and exhausts. But again, you guys really high alert, and as you move around and around, nothing.
No one's been up here.
How far of a drop down is it from the roof? Just out of curiosity.
It's a 5-story building. So
about 50 feet.
Probably a little bit more than that, but yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's get out of here then. Unless you got any other ideas.
I'll just stare momentarily across the street where I saw the eagle last, and just go back down on his word.
Okay. Yeah, you look over, you see like that, like the stoop, the arch over the top of the door where you had saw it perched up. It's empty. Okay. So
Still no more music.
No more music. You destroyed it. So what do you guys do after this? Do you return to your stakeout? Do you go elsewhere in the building? Do you go back to your motel? What do you do?
We already got one B&E under our belts. Why don't we check out that camera in that apartment? See what they were looking at? Or do you want to wait till daytime?
Best tell your new friend about this. She's got credentials.
My old friend.
Right. Our new
Fair
friend.
enough. You mind sealing that wall back up behind us? You did a pretty good job that first time.
Piece of cake.
I'll say because you crit, you can do it again. It's fine.
Nice.
Attaboy.
I was waiting for the fail this time after the crit success the first time.
Okay, so what did you two decide to do?
I'd like to return to the stakeout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys go back to your cars, your car downstairs, you get out, pop back into the vehicle, and you sit across the street watching. It's across and slightly down. We'll cut then back to the motel. Roughly the same time, maybe a little bit later in the night. We see Weaver, we see Fuller. They are in their room. They are, you have woken up. It is late. The two of you look at each other. What do you guys do?
And Fuller's just like, oh gosh. Should we check on Ray?
Yeah. Do you think she got haunted by the hag lady?
I hope not,
Like,
but
Lisa
probably.
is crying. Still, like when she's pretending like she's not, like she did the whole like casual like wipe her face in like her bed or whatever, and swung over. Did you have any weird dreams last night?
It's not last night. It's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Or, you know,
What? Ronnie.
right? Because we just woke up, right, Jeff?
Yeah, you guys just like woke up in the middle of your
Yeah.
in your bedroom in your room. Both of you are on, let's say, either side, different beds. Say it's a double. You got your various books around you that you fell asleep reading to. You woke up middle of the night. But as you start talking about it, every second that passes, a detail of that experience, that dream, fades. This thing fades. That thing fades. You can't quite remember the color of the shirt that Ronnie was wearing. The smell of the cigar becomes less potent. The number of chairs that were actually scattered about. How many floors did you go down? Like all of these things start to get more and more vague each time, each second. And even as you talk about it, the same thing. You go to speak and then it becomes distant. You go to speak again and then you second guess whatever it is that you're saying. Every moment that passes, it gets vaguer and vaguer and vaguer.
If there's one thing though that definitely sticks with Blair, like regardless, it's just Ronnie saying, "Sorry, kid." Like nothing of import.
No. I would
Okay.
say you need to roll for me. You would need to roll a POW test, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a POW test. Let's
Oh,
see how
which is
much-
just even more crushing that, like,
Yeah.
it was such a powerful thing and now you can't even
Yeah.
recall it.
That's like the last thing. Like it's still lingering there. You have like the vague sound of his voice. Sorry, kid, kind of echoing like the context of what it is, like why he said it, like what he said it in response to. Did you ask him a question and then he said that? Did he say it unprompted? Like the specific context of it becomes more and more unclear, but you remember at the very least the line.
Yeah. Okay. And Lisa doesn't really say much else to you. She's kind of frazzled at this point. And so she'll just get up. She goes and very brusquely like changes her clothes in the bathroom real quick with like the door kind of shut. And then she'll come out. All right. So Agent Ray, have you heard from and then that's the moment when she checks her phone and she sees the time that it's only 3 o'clock still. I'm too keyed up to go back to sleep.
Yeah, and when you came out, like you definitely see her just sort of looking out the window a bit because she's trying to she's prides herself on details and being able to recall details and all of those things, and she's just struggling with sort of this experience and the fuzziness of everything, and you see her kind of just staring off, and like when she turns back around to you, like you sort of startled her, and like her jaw is kind of set when she turns around and she's just looks frustrated. And I'm sorry what? I can't.
It's like 3 a.m.
Oh. And we're in, maybe it's worth just checking.
And like that's the moment where Blair is looking to see if she's received a text from or like a response on the phone that we found in Frank Ryder's stuff. Nothing.
You've already gotten responses, but you've gotten
But not
you've gotten
to
text
Miley.
responses, but you've not gotten a voicemail. No one's got a voicemail. The last thing you got was something along the lines of like, "You can
Quit
stop
testing
testing me. I get it," and he's never responded. The fact that he
Yeah.
hasn't responded, you're pretty sure like he's probably not going to. Like you're
Yeah.
like, yeah.
So he tucks that away, and then she actually gets out her regular just like burner phone for the mission, and she'll text Vin, how's it going? Sends that off. She'll text Ray, you awake? Sends that off. And then just kind of looks at Fuller. Do you want to go to Ray's room? See if she's got a freaky fucking moth on her window too.
Yeah, we're up. Maybe she is too.
Okay. Ray, I need you to roll a d10 first before we proceed.
Okay.
As the last we saw. Okay, not so bad.
1.
You lose 1 willpower. You're still asleep. Your dreams become nothing or become void and vague for a while. But Fuller, Weaver, you eventually head over to her room. You knock a couple times. No answer. Eventually, you knock a little louder, and we'll say at that point, Ray, you wake up and you hear the sound of knocking at your door.
She will say, you hear from outside the mouth, coming, and a couple minutes later she opens the door and like bleary-eyed looks at you, and she's wearing a matching pajama set that's like wine colored and very definitely belongs in like a Pottery Barn catalog. And like something happened. What happened?
Just doing a status check on how you were doing. Sleep.
Jeff, what's
Nightmares.
my memory of the dream?
You
at
have
this
everything. Yours is crisp and clear. You see the face, you hear the voice, you remember the sensation. All of it's very crisp and clear.
And so at Fuller's saying they were just doing a status, like she kind of looks at them and like just give me like a minute to wake up. I think something happened. And she ushers them in and closes the door behind you. It takes a couple of seconds to kind of wake up and sort of slaps herself awake and whatever else. And in a couple of seconds we'll say, I think I had a dream. Like,
What do you remember?
Had one. We can't remember it really.
Well, it was pretty much exactly like you described earlier, Blair. I was in bed. I had this woman, kind of pin me and make me unable to move, and she whispered in my ear that her sister was going to be there at the time of my birth, and her would be there at the time of my death. It was exactly like you said. It was just like Finn and Luca had, and it was, and you can see she's trying to keep it together, but she's obviously like really freaked out about the dream.
She didn't speak to them in theirs. Do you remember?
Oh yeah,
I don't
think they said anything about her talking.
I didn't write down exactly what was said, Jeff. I'm not sure if
we were there when you first came to this.
But if she does, I'd like to relay exactly what was said.
We were there when you first came into this world. Do you remember my sister held you in her arms while my sister gently opened your eyelids with her thumb, and I blew the first breath into your lungs? Likewise, we will be there on your dying day. My sister will hold your hand. My sister will kiss your lips and draw the last breath from your lungs. And it will be my hand that stills your heart.
So that is what she really is, and halting and kind of like she's reaching for something that she's not quite sure about the words.
Does that have anything to do with like mythology?
I did not. Well, maybe we can look it up. It is. the sisters. I saw reference to the sisters in Ronnie's journal, and you've
So,
been talking.
speaking
about
of
them.
Ronnie, and she sort of looks to Lisa, we had a different dream.
What did you dream?
For it now, but
He-
all I can remember is Ronnie saying sorry, kid. And I was crying when I woke up.
It was. I saw Ronnie
You
somewhere,
saw Ronnie.
but it was Ronnie, and I could talk to him, and I don't know the rest of it now. But so there's a woman who's in your dreams and Finn's dreams and Luca's dreams. And I see her when I'm awake, but when I'm asleep, I see Ronnie.
Oh, we need hag. Like, how do you protect yourself from a hag? How do you kill a hag? Is this even possible? Like, at this point, it feels like we've been fucking cursed.
How do you protect your dreams?
I don't fucking know. Yeah, too bad we're.
It's obviously not only in dreams, because it caused me to crash the car with the two of us. It attacked you and the green box agent, and
Yeah,
it's been
being awake is
haunting Luca.
one thing. Being and like Fuller's just a little bit discomfited by this whole attacking you in your dreams thing.
Things almost feel like an afterthought to this. I did not mention this yesterday because I there was a trick of the light or something in my mind. It was there was so much happening yesterday, and I thought certainly it was me, but if there's anything I have learned, it is that once is a coincidence, more than once is not. And I saw a shadow, and I thought it was malicious, and I followed with a gun, and I made sure to get the civilians out of the way that way. I thought in the way, but then it disappeared without doing anything. And
You tried to shoot at a shadow?
I
Hey,
what
we've
else,
heard weirder
what else
shit.
are we supposed to do? What else was I supposed to do?
I mean, did it work?
I didn't shoot at it. I
Oh.
just had my gun.
What, this was inside?
It was in the parking lot of my old hotel. It didn't attack the civilians. That's the important part, and it just vanished. But given how malevolent this dream was, I don't even know if they're connected. But maybe it's connected to your dream, because your dream doesn't sound malevolent.
I don't remember any shadows in our dream. I'm assuming at this point I don't remember that detail of the dream. And like the adrenaline of like waking up and all of that is sort of fading a bit for Fuller. And so she's kind of like looking over at the clock, and I'm imagining it's still, 3 something, maybe 4. We heard anything from the stakeout crew?
And let's cut back to them. Okay. So as we cut back, we zoom in. We're zooming on the car. We still have the Toyota Avalon, I think, that white Toyota Avalon, or you have some other car. See on the side of the street. We see a dark street, handful of lights here and there, and we zoom in, and we see a kind of head tilted back in the passenger seat, and kind of off to the right, looking out the window, is Agent Inferno, and you can see his chest smoothly rising up and down. He seems to be asleep. And then we turn over and we see in the driver's seat Agent Price. Agent Price, you suddenly, your eyes just like boom, pop open. But you feel kind of like vaguely unable to move again. Like you can feel like your hands are kind of stuck in place. You try to turn your head a little bit to the right. You can hear Inferno. Pizza. Pizza. But you can't actually really see his face. You can see like his knee or something like that. And as you're watching down the street, like it is a dark street. As dark as the thing you saw last night when you were coming back from Starbucks. And then out of the corner of your eye, the left eye, you see a light begin to emerge. And you watch passing in front of you. You see this like almost floating shadow. And then extended out from it, you see a light. And you realize as your eyes kind of adjust that the shadow is almost like this cloak. This big robe, this cloak, and it's wrapped around this crone woman. And you see her head kind of twist and turn as she's just sort of right in front of your car. And you can see her nose, you can see her eyes. And as you watch her kind of like float past, you realize you don't think her feet are hitting the road in front of you. You see her move all the way across your eyes until you can no longer see her anymore. But you kind of have this like vague bit of light coming in from Inferno's side of the car. And then you watch it start coming back again. Your heart's like beating. Thum, 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 thum. And you see her stop in the middle in front of the car and just turn and stare in. You have a extraordinarily high alertness, as we've discussed. And you can see her face quite clearly because in her hand, she is holding some kind of like candelabra, some kind of and there's lit flames. And so you can see her mouth just begins to grin. Her eyes just begin to open wide. Like this old folds of skin begin to lap over top. And you realize that it is not just any old candelabra, but you can see she is clutching a severed human hand. And you can see each finger has a wick coming out of it. And you see the flame. And then she starts to move again, this time to your side of the car. And you hear as the door opens up and there's like this rush of fresh air. And you kind of feel a hand, this bony but incredibly strong hand. Like it's not the fragile hand of an old woman. Just wrap around your arm and you feel your body just slinking and getting pulled out, and then you slap down onto the asphalt of the road, still unable to move. I need you to roll a sand test.
All right, all right, all right. Well, I did roll a lolly again. Unfortunately, it was on the wrong die, so that's a 90.
Roll a D3 and take that amount of sand loss. As you feel yourself.
That's a 7.
Okay, so that's what? Wait, how did you?
Wait,
how did
you
roll
said
7
D3.
on-
I heard
D3.
D7. I'm sorry. You got me stressed out.
It's just like Melissa making characters in
Don't
Perils
pull
and
an
Princess.
Ashley. God.
Going the
I was
opposite
guessing
direction.
at what die you were going to say. That's 2.
Okay, so you got a 2. So take 2 points of sand loss. Okay, and again, you can push that off if you want. As
I
you
do have to
feel
push that because otherwise I'll break.
Okay, so go ahead and spend. Roll a D4 first of all. Start there.
Yeah, I'm running low on willpower too. So
Yeah, this
roll
is gonna
low.
be. I rolled to see. By the way, I'll even reveal it to you guys. And
I rolled a 2, and I have 3 willpower.
I rolled to see if you guys passed or failed your like who rolled worse on a contest. And Inferno rolled a crit. I rolled it secretly, so you guys didn't know this time.
Yeah,
Okay.
con's not my best stat. I've been a smoker for a while.
Okay. You kind of feel yourself getting dragged for a bit, and then suddenly you're just like lifted and slung over her shoulder almost like you're like a fireman carry. And your eyes are looking half back towards the car where you see a peacefully sleeping Agent Inferno. And you see he is none the worse for wear and completely oblivious as to what is actually happening. And you feel yourself and watch, and you can see kind of down to the street, the asphalt of the street, and then the sidewalk, and then the steps. You hear the creak of a door, and then you see the ground is now linoleum, and you realize that you've been brought back inside the building. You're in here somewhere. You can see and I'll give you, by the way, an occult test if you wanted to roll an occult really fast. If you have
I'll
any
try
skills
it. I don't think I'm amazing at it though. I'm 42. I'm okay.
Okay.
I'll spend one of those boosts that Crick just gave us too. That's a failure anyway. 76 over 52.
Okay. Then everything that I just said is exactly what happens. You try to speak maybe once or twice, but you're unable to scream. You're able to even whimper. Like you can breathe just fine, but you're just hanging down the body of this hag. It's bony too. You can kind of feel yourself thump here and there. And you feel yourself going up more stairs. You kind of lose track of exactly how many. But at a certain point, you just thump. You get dropped down. And again, your alertness is so extraordinarily high that you
can't keep using
hear-
that against me, Jeff.
Yes, I do. And I think I should. I think it's fair. It means you're overly paranoid and anxious when you're that alert. So you hear the sounds of something squeaking. Like you look up and you see she seems to be unfastening like this heating duct. And then you see her crawling inside. She turns around like very like easily, right? And then she grabs you by the feet and she starts dragging you into this heating duct. And as that happens, eventually everything becomes absolutely black, like just agonizingly so. And it feels like you're moving for hours, not minutes, not seconds, but hours. It's just that's long. And eventually you come to a stop. And you see the face appear in front of you. And she's just kind of leering at you. And the little candelabra of the severed hand is next to her so you can see her face. And she says, "I'll be leaving you now." And then grins. "But not alone." And then she blows the candles out, and you start hearing the same rustling, skittering sound that you heard upstairs, except multiplied by 100, by 1,000, and it seems to be approaching.
Can I move now?
I need you to roll a sand test again first.
Damn it, you bastard.
It was either you or Inferno, and Inferno passed the test I had.
Come on,
So
lollies.
He crit succeeded, and you failed your con. So you woke up. He didn't.
Only passed because I pushed onto my bond. I rolled a 37, which would have been a failure otherwise.
Okay, so you suffer another point of sand. And you did burn your willpower before, your D4 to reduce your sand before, so you do suffer a minimum of 1. As you are in complete blackness, you hear the sounds of rustling. You start to feel things squirming over top of you. But the good news is you start feeling the feeling coming back to your arms, your legs, your extremities, all of it. Just like a little bit at a time. But everything's kind of crawling over top of you and crawling over top of you and crawling over top of you. But it's not coming back all at once. But you can just feel things crawling. Your fingers start to move, then your toes, then your hand kind of starts to move. Then you can wiggle your nose, your mouth. You can feel yourself as you kind of let out a cough and sound comes out. It comes back slowly. What do you do, Agent Price?
I am freaking out. My fingers that are slowly coming back, I'd be trying to just pull as much as I can to try and position myself. I know I don't have the strength in my fingers, but I would just be absolutely struggling against my own body, trying to just scramble away.
Okay. Roll a luck test. Just 50-50, so it's a D100.
55.
50 or under is good. Okay. You crawl, and you come to a wall. And crawl a different way, and you come to a different wall. You crawl a different way, and you just keep looking around. And half an hour goes by, you start to feel little bites, and you feel things kind of in your hair, something going into your ear, getting under your clothes, and the feeling is becoming more and more. But eventually, it's like a double-edged sword. The feeling is becoming more and more pronounced, but it's allowing you to move quicker and quicker and quicker until you find it. You find the vent shaft. It takes a while, a half an hour or so. And the whole time you're just getting bit and bit and bit.
And I keep slamming my body against the walls, trying to pin these things, getting them off me, trying to squeeze them, trying to crush them as best I can.
And eventually you find the shaft, and you're one after the other. You start crawling, your arms pulling you here and there. And eventually you get to a vent, and you're able to pop it open, and you flop down. And you look around, and you see that you are still in the building. You look to be on the 4th floor. You can see light coming in from the end of the hall. You've been here for hours, absolute hours. And you look at your hands, you look at your arms, you feel your face. You have bites, you have blemishes. You can see little bits of blood come off in your hands and in your fingers here and there, as you think you have 1,000 small bites and slashes and cuts all over you. Nothing significant, but there's just so many of them that it's just extremely uncomfortable and itchy. You find yourself just scratching here and there. Meanwhile, Agent Inferno, you hear, and you wake up, and you see standing on the sidewalk next to you, there is a there's a uniformed officer knocking on your window, as you apparently have fallen asleep. You're in the passenger side of your vehicle. The sun is basically up. Dawn has come. It looks like Price is missing, and you can see there's an officer kind of knocking on your window, and then makes a
Roll
kind
the
of
window
whine.
down.
Hey,
Well,
buddy, you can't sleep here. Yeah. Good morning. You can't sleep here, buddy. You gotta get out of here.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll get a move on.
Yeah. Okay. You got some ID on you?
Yeah, I'll give him good old ID.
Okay. So he pulls it out and he takes a look at it. What does the name say? Give me a name.
It's my Lexi Infernal one.
Okay. So he looks at it and he's like, Inferno? Your name is Alexi Inferno.
Yeah,
Would
got
you
a problem.
Do I got a problem? Buddy, you might want to take that down a notch. You're the one I found illegally loitering out here, outside of apartment buildings, sleeping. Normally, I would take you in. If you're gonna have an attitude, we could just hop right to that if you like, Mr. Inferno.
Maybe I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
You didn't wake up in a bed. You woke up in a car on the street outside of an apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah. All right. What's your business here in this neighborhood?
Friend lives nearby.
Your friend lives nearby. Must not be much of a friend if they're leaving you out here sleeping instead of letting you sleep on their couch. What's this friend's name?
Former friend. Frank.
Frank. Frank have a last name?
What was his last name? Ryder?
Mm-hmm. Frank Ryder, huh? Which one of these buildings is old Frank living in these days?
Well, he used to be in the Bellagio.
He used to be. So he doesn't live in the neighborhood anymore.
Well, he can't live anymore. He's dead.
Okay, kid, listen. So let me see if I understand this correctly. You have a friend who is now dead, who used to live in the Bellagio, and for some reason, you are now sleeping outside of it. Can you fill in some of the gaps here on this story?
It's a long story. He passed away recently.
Very recently? Like, should I be checking? I be checking his apartment, and I should bring you in for questioning?
No, have you heard? There's an accident near the bagel shop.
There's a lot of accidents around here.
Well, he died a couple days ago.
Did he? Okay. A friend died a couple days ago. My condolences. Why are you sleeping in a car outside of your deceased friend's apartment?
Must have dozed off. Was talking to the superintendent there. Get things settled. Didn't get a good night's
Boring
sleep.
guy? You just fell asleep in the middle of the conversation?
No, I came back waiting on a friend, but just passed out in my seat.
So you have another friend. Is
Yeah,
this
he's-
one alive or is this one dead too?
Look to my left, he's missing. Yeah, he was right. He's driving. He must have got a coffee or something.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, Mr. Inferno. I'm going to walk down to the end of that block. I'm going to make a right. I'm going to walk up the next block. And if I come back around here and your car's still here and you're still here, I'm going to relocate you. How's that?
Yeah. No more problems here.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, you got an attitude on you, kid. I have a mind to bring you in just to wipe that frickin' smirk off your face. But you know what? My condolences for your loss. And he just kind of drops loosely, like kind of like flings it back at you, your own ID. And that's the only reason I'm not putting cuffs on you right now.
Thanks, officer.
Mm-hmm. Now get this car the hell out of here. And you see him start to walk away.
The keys here.
I don't see why they wouldn't be.
Okay.
I don't think he would have kept them in his pockets. He probably just has them in the ignition or something.
I'll just step out for a moment and scan the surroundings to see if he's out somewhere.
It's early morning. It's literally dawn. So you can see the sun's just coming up. You look around, you don't see him anywhere. You can see a handful of lights are now coming on in some of the buildings around here, but you don't see Agent Price at all.
I'll pull away for now and find a business that I can park in.
Okay. Agent Price, as you kind of get yourself situated, again, you're on the fourth floor. You get checking your things. You don't have the keys on you. You have your phone on you, wallet, all that kind of stuff. But you have like no real idea what the hell just happened. Like you remember things, like you remember the crone, you remember all that kind of stuff on the street. You're getting dragged and dropped somewhere in here, and you see this vent shaft that you were in. What do you want to do? What do you do?
I would rather not remember things if I could go the Lisa route and just.
No. That's not how that works. You mentioned it in chat. Dreams you want to remember, you don't remember. Dreams you don't want to remember, it's what you remember. That's deltagreen.
Can I tell like which apartment I'm in?
You're not in an apartment.
Like,
you're like out in the hall.
Oh, just okay.
Yeah, you're out in the hall.
Then I just scramble down the stairs as fast as I can, trying to get out of here.
Okay. You come out just as you see like Agent Inferno sit back down into the car, and you see the car start to pull away as he's driving the car away. But because you guys both have ridiculously high alertness, you both see each other, and it's a beautiful moment. You run across the beach and you hug each other. Everything's great. You see each other, no problem.
I jump in the car, say, "Go, just go."
Can't you see him going? Where have you been?
You see like 1,000 bug bites on his face and his arms. You see little splotches of blood and other pus and fluids and things like that all over him. You don't see any signs of bugs. You don't see anything under the collar. You don't see anything in his hair. You don't see anything caught up in nothing like that. And even Agent Price, as you go to look for them, none of them. There's not like a curled up like bug that died after stinging you in your pocket anywhere, but you have all of the effects of the bites all over you.
Jesus, this bug bites or something?
Who the fuck knows?
I started looking at myself just to see if I have any.
No, you're good. You actually had a nice sleep. In fact,
yeah, I got
you crit succeeded. You were great. You had a nice sleep.
I got 2 willpower back. That was a good night's sleep.
Okay.
Get me to a pharmacy, get a first aid kit or something.
All right. So as you guys drive away, hit a pharmacy, etc., are you going to head back to the motel after that?
Vin would be panicking,
Okay.
trying to keep it together, and just he wouldn't decide where to go. So if Luca decides that's where we're going, that's where we're going.
Well, it's up to you, Luca. Where you going?
Yeah, I'll head back.
Okay. So you start heading back. No problem. All right. Let's cut back to I was about to say Shiba. Let's cut back to Ray and Fuller and Weaver as you all are. We just check in on Shiba, who might still be alive. But well, no, it's 90 years later. She'd be pretty old. She'd be pretty old if she was still alive.
She's
And
not
probably
exactly
Patrick.
this what we talked about.
Yeah. Okay. So the three of you will say this is a couple hours prior. Weaver, you never get any texts back. So it's like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. It's fairly early. You still got about an hour or two, maybe 2 hours before dawn, and even longer before like the day, like the professional business day really gets going. So what do the three of you want to do? I think the last I heard from you, we're going to go looking around where you think the dream was happening with Ronnie. Is that right?
I'm not sure if we remember enough to know that, but if
we do, we would.
If we remember it, we would. I wasn't sure how much we lost.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would say you vaguely remember poolside, vaguely. You remember Ronnie. You remember him being vague, non-committal. You remember she, her, that kind of stuff, but the smell is gone. The specific colors are gone. And you get down there, and it's still dark when you first arrive. And you look around, and I'll tell you what, roll search
Jeff,
tests.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but before that happens, can I just take 5 minutes and just write down all the details I remember of both the dream and the shadow incident that
Absolutely.
happened earlier in the day?
No problem.
No,
That's not an issue at all.
Document them before we leave.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. I mean, Full and Weaver, if you want to roll search, if you go down and look around, see if anything rings a bell, you both can do that. It's fine.
Yeah. Ray, would you come with us or no?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I interrupted with Jeff. Feel like, can I just do this real quick before I join the
Crit fail.
Oh gosh!
Okay.
Please come with and please succeed because Fuller failed.
Well, there's nothing really for Ray to look for though, because she didn't have the dream, unfortunately. So it's really just the two of you.
But,
yeah. So the two of you are looking around, and I will tell you that I mean, it doesn't look anything like this place. You remember a body of water, and maybe as you get down here and you start looking around this pool, like you smell like this intense chlorine smell because they're over chlorinating.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't remember that from the dream. Like you don't remember a pool. You don't remember that at all. And so maybe it was the ocean. And then Weaver, you're standing there and you're kind of looking down at the pool while Fuller is like checking around some of the chairs and things and seeing if she can kind of to do something. Ray is kind of spraying around, kind of looking as well. And Weaver, you're like looking down at the water, and there is this light underneath, like a dome light in the pool that is on and then flickers off. And it's like you're looking down, and this is the back patio of the hotel. So there's a couple lights here and there, so it's not completely dark. But the sun's still not up yet. But then you see it flicker back on. And you see just sort of moving through it, like it's just like this weaving giant fish is this big shadow. And you watch as it rolls over. You can see this face of an old woman who's just kind of looking up at you. And she comes to the surface and she just says, "Boo! I need you to roll a sand test."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
58. Fail.
Okay. Roll a D3.
Three.
Okay. Take 3 points of sand loss. You can push it off if you want.
Push it. Yeah.
And as you like kind of, as you stand and like kind of freak out, you see her like wet, bony hand launch with impossible speed, like a snake strike out of the water, grabs your ankle and pulls you directly in, and you just go plummeting into this dark water. The light flickers back out, and you feel yourself drowning and drowning and drowning in black water. Fuller and Ray, what are your alertness rolls?
40.
What are you at for alertness? 40. Ray, what are you at? Alertness for 50. Okay, so 40 and 50. Okay, so both of you, both Fuller and Ray, you would hear a splash, and you look over towards the pool, and you don't see Weaver.
Fuller is jumping in.
You run over and you leap in. It's this big black water, and you plunge into it, and you can't see anything. Like, it is pitch black. This water is so ridiculously dark, like opaque almost, as you're looking. The whatever dome light, the light from the patio is like not penetrating through the water. Ray, what are you doing? Agent Ray.
Sorry, it was muted. I have no idea what the hell just happened, so I'm just like kind of at the edge of the pool. Like, if I see an arm, if I see blood, I'm gonna try and like pull her out or something.
Okay. Weaver, you feel like the hand around your ankle, and it's just kind of moving around like it's like a dog playing with a toy. You just feel yourself getting like kind of just whooshed around here and there. You're trying to like come out from under. You're trying to get back up to the surface, but like the strength of this is just absolutely unreal. What do you do, Weaver?
I think she's gonna try and just kick at what's holding on to her.
Okay, go ahead and give me like a brawl test or something like that. Or not brawl, melee, excuse me. It's melee weapons.
I'm gonna take one.
Yeah.
Sure. What you got for melee weapons?
Yeah, 30. So I'm shooting
Ditto.
for 40.
Okay.
But it's not a crit failure because I did take. But
Yeah, so it's a crit success. Okay, so that
Oh,
means
bless, okay.
you're kicking and you're kicking and you're kicking, and then all of a sudden the lights flicker back on, and your foot goes square smashing right into Fuller's face. Fuller, you feel your nose, your entire eye just kind of crunch underneath the weight of her boot. And Weaver, go ahead and roll D4 -1, and Fuller take that amount of damage as you get kicked. And Weaver, you look down and you see that it's Fuller's hand that has been wrapped around you, and she's trying to help you. You just kick her right in the face. The water suddenly becomes kind of a little cloudy with some of Fuller's blood that is now dripping out of her nose. The light this kind of flickering here and there, almost strobe-like ray from above. You look down and you can just see it's like you're in a club and everything's strobing, quick movements, and they're just dancing around. And you see Fuller and Weaver Fuller's trying to help her. Weaver is panicking. And then Ray, you watch as there is something else in the water with them, as you see this kind of dark swirl just begin to drain down the center of the pool. You just see it just drains down as if this dark portion, this dark shadow, drips away until it's gone. And suddenly the flickering of the light stops, and you can see it's just your two fellow agents in the water kind of scrambling with each other.
And when Lisa finally like breaches the surface, it's just with like this big panicked gasping breath, and she kind of like drags herself out of the pool at the side like a wet cat, where she's literally just crawling, and she's kind of panicked breathing, and she just will crawl as far away enough to where she doesn't feel like anything could grab her from the pool, and then she'll flop onto her back as she's just breathing.
And Fuller is like, when she comes up to the surface, she's just like pinching her nose, and she's just like, "Oh my, did you fucking kick me? Like, what? Oh God, darn it. What the hell? Why did you jump in the water? Why?"
I didn't jump in the water. Because this is the first time Lisa has like seen her. She has not seen her previously, so like this far in the game, this is finally the first time she's actually seen her.
Mm-hmm. You recognize the face from the photo at the very least.
Yeah. And then that's when she just, as she's laying there, and she starts to do like her calming, where she's, breathing in for 3, holding for 4, breathing out, whatever. And then she finally calms down enough. Elizabeth, the hag grabbed me.
Like she actually pulled you in?
Yeah. She's so unbelievably strong. She was just shaking me in the bottom of the pool like I was a fucking rag doll.
And Fuller had sort of been like yelling at you from the pool, and then hearing that, she's like scrambling over to the side and like moving herself out of the water as quickly as she possibly can, and kind of looks back down at the water, and like the light's on and everything seems fine at this point.
Looks fine to you.
She's like, Ray, did you see?
I didn't see anything. I saw you jump into the water, and Blair was gone already.
Son of a bitch. Okay. We have got to get back there. Ray, you've got...
Yeah, I was going to go do some interviews today anyway. I should leave sooner rather than later. Give me wait for... Do we have enough time for me to wait for Vin and Luca to come back? I would like to know what they found out.
Yeah, I mean, if you left now, you would get to the apartment complex at like 4:45 in the morning and not really be able to do it. It's like super early. It's just pre-dawn for you all.
Okay.
I'm fine to say, if you guys are fine to say, that the timing works out as Inferno and Price come back, the 3 of you get back to your rooms and dry off or whatever it is that you need to do, those of you that went into the pool. And so around this time that maybe you all converge. Is that fair to say? Can we reunite? And so it's probably an hour past dawn. We'll put it at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and that all of you are on this kind of same floor, a couple different rooms next to each other, so you can kind of move about and share however you see fit. Like who goes where, who talks to whom, who shares what.
As like they come up the hall, like Fuller and Weaver are just like dripping and have like towels from the pool wrapped around them.
Bit of a morning swim.
You're back.
Yeah, not much happened.
Vin looks furious, and he's holding like one of those
Covered in
styrofoam cups of black coffee, and he's just inhaling cigarette after cigarette, just chain smoking right now.
You know you're inside
I-
right now, right? You're
He stares daggers at
Yeah.
you
She's
and then
like a-
just inhales even longer.
There's like a no smoking sign like right above his head behind him.
Ray comes out of her room in like a pressed shirt and pants and looks at all of you and Vin. What the hell happened? Are you okay?
Yeah.
He's a bit rattled. I'll tell you what we saw last night.
My room's a smoking room. Should we go there?
Sure.
Yeah.
The hag get you too then?
And I just walked past her.
Like down the hall, cigarette hanging down, doesn't matter. 1, no smoking. 2, no smoking. You just keep passing by.
I
You
even
see the
drop
smoke
one and
detector
light a
start to
new one.
flicker. You just flick the first bud onto the ground. Just keep going. Okay. You're all in Ray's room, no problem.
And I'll fill them in on what
Yeah.
we saw.
Awesome.
So yeah,
I was going to ask that Ray gets filled in on the details of the stakeout and also like any conversations that have been had with the tenants already. And anyone else that's building.
nothing will be withheld from my side.
You've got the badge. Not everybody's seen you yet, so you've got the cover to go have some conversations with people.
At a reasonable time then, Jeff, I'd like to call Kurt Winter and set up a time to meet with him at his apartment and sort of plan to kind of do other interviews in the building around
Well,
whatever
Kurt
time.
or the like superintendent of the building?
Kurt is who she's calling.
Okay.
Her assumption is that Todd will be there pretty much 24/7. Because that is where he
roll-
works and lives.
Roll a luck test. See what kind of time we're thinking here. So luck, basically, it's a D100.
That's
1 to 50 is
100.
good. Yeah, 51 to 100 is bad.
44.
Yeah, he can meet with you this morning before he goes to work. It's not a problem.
Sweet. I will head over.
Okay. Is anybody else going back?
Heavily made up for whatever threat to cover the dark circles, lack of sleep, and all bruises from the car crash.
So, as I bring the group back together, finally, 30 seconds later, we're splitting back up. Where is everybody going at this point?
Even to tag
We
along.
updated each other. Everybody's updated.
Okay,
It
where's
doesn't
everyone
feel
go?
appropriate for me to go if she's gonna go see Kurt because I already pissed Kurt off with a crit fail.
That's true.
So
Didn't you want to go visit the cemetery nearby? I don't know if that was still an option.
what were we looking for?
I feel like we was like looking at headstones or like people that passed away if they like got buried nearby.
Any more details from the list of people? Just trying to look into their deaths a little bit more. And one of the topics of conversation with you all would obviously be like you got into the 4th floor and like everything that you saw there. So in looking through the notes of which units in the building have had multiple individuals that passed, 11 is one where Ronnie Frank was in. And then unit 6 was another one that had multiple deaths in the unit. And somewhere along the line, I think we learned that it's vacant, up for rent. Is there any way that, like, and this is a little bit of a Jeff question, is there any way that Fuller could try to pass as like possibly wanting to rent that one? Like trying to get inside of it, trying to rent it?
Yeah,
I don't think
see why that would be an issue.
I've burned any bridges with Todd.
No. I mean, I don't think you have. I think the only people who have kind of shown some trouble. So like Agent Inferno had the conversation with Todd. It didn't go so well. There's he kind of was trying to tell you like maybe chill. And then Weaver had only a bad incident with Kurt.
Yeah.
Price multiple times has behaved poorly around 8-year-old young Naomi Wills, as Price is apparently scared.
Not
by
multiple
young
times,
children.
just once.
Nope. It felt like multiple times. So there's that. None of you could. I mean, you can all go back. It's just an apartment building. Like you can go back to the apartment building if you want. It's just there might be, depending on who you bump into, depending on what you try to do, there might be some consequences. That's all. But it's not like you can't go back. Anyone can go back, really. Even if Inferno could go back, as long as he isn't kind of caught by Todd. That's all.
Yeah, I think Fuller would specifically want to go and just see if she can, kind of say that she might be interested possibly in renting that one and try to go spend some time inside. So that would be her goal.
Yeah,
So she would go with Ray.
Go together if you want. Yeah.
Okay.
If it's also okay with them, I think Vin would go with Ray to talk with Kurt, because Vin wasn't there when they talked with Kurt the first time. So
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he met Kurt, but he didn't actually sit down and talk with him. I could be wrong.
You weren't in the interrogation because you were gone. Because the interrogation happened while Vin was sleeping back at the motel. I don't think Vin ever actually talked to Kurt, because the first time everyone talked to Kurt was
in the hallway or something, right?
It was
when the
my
news
tray
was
when
broke
she-
to him.
Yeah, you were out
okay.
that episode.
I think that was the
So,
one
yeah.
that you were out.
If it's okay with Ray, then I'd go with her to talk with Kurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Fuller, Price, Ray are heading back to the building. Price and Ray specifically going to go try to talk to Kurt Winter again. Not Kurt Fuller, not Kurt Loader.
Sorry.
It could
be.
He's dead now, I thought.
20 or 30 minutes before, she is going to go see Todd Beach first.
Okay.
Before she goes to Kurt.
I'm just going to say the three of you are going back.
Tells them that she wants to talk to them perfectly.
Okay, I mean, I want to see where everyone's going first. So I still want to figure out where Inferno and Weaver are going. So what are you two doing? What's your plan?
There's a way to look into the history of the building, more on the owners, people that passed away, sort of deal.
Yeah, so you have the full research of Ronnie, that full scrapbook that has all of those all of that building history. So I can show it to you again in case you all. So yeah, there should be. I just should have shared a file. And so yeah, that's the big thing that Fuller was able to read through the night before, that Ronnie had been working on prior. So that's one thing. Now, if you're looking for the owners of the building, that's not hard to find at all. So I would say it takes you no more than an hour or so, kind of going through some various public records. It shouldn't be difficult. You would know how to do it. You're a DE agent, easy enough to do. And you do find the name of the owner is Lila and Archie Starrett. And Todd might even mention the names before the Starretts. And so you do have, you would have the name of the owners. Kurt Fuller's still alive? Kurt Loader is dead though, right? Because Kurt Loader is the one from MTV, and Kurt Fuller is the guy that was in Psych.
I can't look up every Kurt that you want me to look up, Jeff. I can tell you that Kurt Fuller is still alive.
I know Kurt Cobain is dead.
Oh.
It really that shook me. So okay, all right. So Weaver, what are you up to?
She would be tagging along with Inferno.
Okay.
But do the Sturts have any relations to the Salmon Munitions fortune at all, or are they descendants of the same family? that's branched
So,
off,
Let
or
me see if there's. I think there is some. Let me see. So if you want, you can give me a. Yeah, you can go ahead and give me like a roll if you want to try to get onto the interwebs, see if you can dig into the Starets a little bit, see if there's any kind of connection. Absolutely.
cool. I would love to fail. I would love to fail. 98.
Okay. Okay. I would say that your online searches don't make any kind of clear connections. The salmon munitions fortune doesn't seem to be, well, I'll say if you, what is your, like your computers test? Give me that. What's your computers?
52.
Like what's your skill? 52?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You don't even need to roll then. Never mind. I shouldn't even have had you roll. So you would be able to know that there is a distant relation, and not only that, but Lila is the heir to the salmon munitions. Yeah. You would also see a lot of like various articles about Lila and Archie Starrett, apparently frequent contributors to like local colleges, UNC Wilmington, Cape Fear Community College, things like that. They are both like in their 50s or so. You can't get, it doesn't look like they have any children that you can tell. But they're both seem to be like well respected. They do a lot of various like fundraisers and things here and there for various like charitable causes. It looks like Archie, for instance, seems to organize like these golfing events every so often down in Myrtle Beach, where he gets like these big donors to come down, and there's one cause or another. Lila seems to be the one who's a bit more the business side of things. That she seems to be handling the fortune and various investments, real estate, stuff like that.
Okay. And then is there any pictures of Lila that we can compare to Elizabeth?
Yeah, absolutely. That's not a problem at all. You see her in plenty of publications. Mid to late 50s, looks nothing like the woman that you see in the photos. Archie, same thing, short, stocky, probably mid 50s or so. You can definitely tell that Archie has like he's constantly smiling. In almost every picture you see him smiling. Whereas Lila, you're human. You see her every now and then, but she's got kind of this stern gaze and such here and there. You know, nothing too, doesn't look like a particularly friendly or a warm person. But they both look very classy, well-dressed, wealthy. They're definitely like, you know, Southern elite kind of deal.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. All right. So Inferno and Weaver, you have some details about the Starets. I would even say with a 52, you could probably even track down like a home address for them, because they do live in the area, though obviously they don't live near the Villaggio. They live somewhere else. They live in an upscale neighborhood, not like a college town.
Yeah.
So you would be able to get some kind of address for them. So what would the two of you be doing with that kind of info as you kind of start pouring through the building history and the history of the owners? What would you do?
Should we go try and schedule an appointment to speak with them?
Let's do that.
So we'll look and see if we can find some sort of like contact information for them, to like see about scheduling like a meeting.
Okay. I'll say that yes, you can certainly like to one of their foundation numbers or something like that. You can speak to an assistant. What reason do you give? And that will determine what kind of role I ask for here.
Yeah, let's go with the investigation route of the recent death of Ronnie.
Okay, reason. And are you putting yourselves forward as like official investigators? Like,
yeah, we'll pose as official.
Okay, so like, are we talking like local law enforcement? Are we talking FBI? What are we thinking?
We have the identification for FBI, but if we can
you do,
you do.
Let's just
do that.
Okay. All right. So you speak with an assistant, and they're like, and you explain to them that you're looking into the investigation. It's an FBI investigation, and they put you on hold. And in about 5 minutes, they come back, and very quickly they're like, there's the Starretts can see you at 10 a.m. this morning, and they give you like their home address. Like they're preparing to go on holiday, so they're trying to get all business in before they leave. So if you want to speak with them, you'll need to do so very quickly. But they've been very gracious and never let it be said that the Starretts would not help out law enforcement with very serious crimes. And so if you are able, if that's okay, if that, and so you can see she's very like, you can almost kind of get like a nervousness to the assistant's voice as she's like you can almost get the sense with, I think Inferno's got decent human, like there's like a nervousness to her, like you get the feeling like she might have been dressed down or yelled at, and she's kind of compensating now with you in a way.
That's perfect. We'll meet you then.
Okay. All right. So the two of you are going to go meet with the Starretts while Fuller and Price and Ray go back to the Villaggio. Ray, you head off and you head off and you knock on apartment 1 to talk to Todd Beach. Price and Fuller, while she's talking to Beach alone, what are the two of you doing?
Fuller's probably going to wait a little bit because she also wanted to go talk to Beach about the vacant room. So kind of like Ray's got to do her thing, and then Fuller will come in to talk to Beach about the vacant apartment. Okay.
And then Price, what are you doing?
I'm going to be Ray's sidekick.
Ree has asked to speak to Todd Beach alone and said that, and asked that you wait outside Kurt Winter's apartment so Beach does not see you. And also, like, I'll keep him busy for the time I'm down here with him, so he definitely won't see you for at least the next few minutes.
Fuller might walk Price down and try to see if we can see where the outside murder had happened. So like there was the individual that was killed by like the homeless folks nearby. Mm-hmm. So I think she just wants to like meander by that area while we're waiting.
You can do that. Yeah. Is that okay, Price? All right.
Go get another coffee because I'm not going to sleep ever again.
You guys go back to that Starbucks again. And then Ray, you knock on the door. We'll say it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30. Door opens up. You can see there is Todd Beach, burly guy, late 40s or so. You can see he's got like what was it called? Like the home improvement Al kind of vibe to him. Flannel shirt, jeans. You can see he doesn't quite have the tool belt on, but he probably will at some point. As he's like, as you can see, he's like kind of wiping his eye a little bit. He's got a mug in his hand. Little chip in it. And he's like, yeah, can I help you?
She gives him a pleasant smile and pulls out the FBI badge. Mr. Beach?
Yes, Todd Beach. Can I, what can I do for you, Agent?
Agent
that right?
Isha Ray. That's right, Special Agent Isha Ray. I am here conducting an investigation on Frank Ryder. Really just here to rule out any elements of foul play because he was working with the Bureau for a long time. It's very rote, it's very methodical.
Frank Ryder worked for the Bureau?
Yes, it's very mundane and very run of the mill. I just wanted to let you know I'll probably be in the building today and probably over the next day or two to speak with some of your tenants just to rule a few things out. But I wanted to let you know ahead of time so that you are not alarmed in any way.
I understand. I'm gonna have to contact Mrs. Starrett about this. I'm just the super. I'll have to let her know. She has connections with local law enforcement, so I'm sure she'll probably want to loop them in. Unless I'm overstepping. Frank worked for the FBI?
I'm unfortunately
Ryder.
not at liberty to discuss the details of the relationship we had with him.
Okay. Would you give me one moment, please?
Certainly.
And you see, like, he leaves the door open, and you see him step back, and he pulls off the wall an old-fashioned wall phone with a cord, and you see him punch a number in, and it's a phone from like 40 years ago, and he's holding it up, and he's like, "Yes, Mr. Stair, it's Todd. Yeah. Oh, yep. Good morning to you. Yep. Yep. Yeah, Mr. Stair, the FBI is here. As you know, one of our tenants was killed recently. Yes, the one who owes you. Yes, he's back. Yes, the one who owes you money. Yeah, she says that he was. Yes, ma'am. No, we did not find any hidden reserves of cash. No. Anyhow. So she says that he worked for the FBI and she wants to conduct investigations today and maybe, was it tomorrow as well? Or is it just today?
I'm going to try and get through as much as I can today.
Hopefully she can finish her investigation today. I thought I should make you. She has a badge, yes. One sec. Are you working with partners or a team or something, Agent
yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Yes, she says that she's working with the team. Yes. I see.
In fact, they may have already reached out to her.
And he's he's just like nodding, and you can tell that he's listening and nodding at the same time. Yes, ma'am. I will keep a record. Yes, ma'am. I will keep a record. Yes, thank you. And he holds the phone. Bye. And she probably clicked on. And he comes back. It's like, well, apparently they have already contacted to interview her and Archie.
Thank you, Mr. Beach. I am sorry for the inconvenience this must cause. But I appreciate your cooperation, and the Bureau does as well.
You're welcome. Is there anything I can do to help you?
I will likely need to ask you some questions as well.
Me? I didn't nothing to do with it.
Of course you didn't. But given your role here, you likely have information about the building. That would be very useful.
Ask away. I can tell you anything you need to know about the building. Absolutely.
May I come back later? I do have an appointment that I need to make.
Sure.
Do you have a phone number, or what is the best way to reach you?
Well, yeah. And he kind of reaches back. Mrs. Sterritt gave me these cards to give out. And he kind of hands over a card, and if you can't get me on this thing, and he holds up probably about a 5 or 6 year old cell phone. I could be in the workshop in the basement. Or I could be in the apartment if you come looking for me, but I don't leave very frequently. Occasionally I have to go down to the Home Depot to get supplies, but otherwise I'm here most of the time.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so he closes the door. All right, Fuller and Price, you're heading out, you're looking around. The neighborhood isn't terrible, but it's definitely like college. It's definitely college vibes, college town vibes. So everything's older. It's not extraordinarily clean. Stuff's not like run down, but it's not like there's a lot of money in these apartment buildings. Like these are priced for college students, so they are affordable. They're not only college students who live here. So the people who do live here are usually like support staff. A lot of them work at the universities or the university or the community college or at some of the various other small places around here. There's like bus stops, public transit here and there, so you can see people going through it. So it's not a particularly high socioeconomic area. That being said, early morning, you're walking around, like you have a very, very high alertness price. Everything looks like you don't really see anything that kind of catches your attention. Is like this is a dangerous trap. This area, no one really accosts you. There's a vagrant here or there, a person maybe standing on the like holding out a cup, maybe a person holding a sign, but nothing Like they're not aggressive about it, and half the people stop, give them something. Half the people move on. No one lambasts them. It seems like a pretty mellow area. It's not that far from the water, so it seems like a mellow area. Is there something in particular you're looking for?
Polar. Price is just drinking a giant cup of coffee right now. Still smoking.
So she's just kind of wandering around trying to see if she can figure out like the alley that was behind, because it was all the way back in 77. So I don't know that folks would like have a memory of that one happening. But that was the college student and the girlfriend.
36 years since that killing. You would guess that there's not that many people who would probably still live in this neighborhood who are alive. And there might be some, but it would take some significant canvassing on yours and Price's going to various apartment buildings and knocking on all these doors. It could take all day or two.
Yeah, and she's really kind of testing fate here, because we've seen shadows here or there, and so she's kind of seeing like, okay, so if we go somewhere where someone was murdered, she's kind of testing to see like, are we going to have like a hag appearance or shadow or something, kind of where something bad happened, basically.
Remember, Jeff, I have high alertness.
You have supernaturally high alertness, I would say. As the two of you, you're walking through some of these alleyways, you're trying to kind of retrace like the steps, and you do actually find that you can eventually find a backwards route from the building away from the street where Price and Inferno were parked for their stakeout. And it would kind of weave around towards this main street area. And it's, again, a stone's throw from the water. And Price, you would recognize it as you were here the night before. It is where you kind of lost the shadow that you were chasing. And it's a different vibe now, obviously, because it's morning time, but it is very busy. And you can see that there are all sorts of these small, quaint, like cafes, shops, people that look to be going off to the water, some coming back from the water. You can see that there's not as many cars as you would think. It seems like the weather is beautiful and they're kind of walking up and down, starting their days early. There's a lot of people out for breakfast. You do notice that there is like the theater that was described is still there. It's possible it's changed over time. You can see that it has like an old fashioned marquee. Like one side is playing like a popular film from 2013, but it's also like advertising like various special events here and there. You can see that there's the Starbucks where Price got the coffee as well at the end of the street. So, but at no point in this travel are you ever assaulted, both physically or spiritually?
I would point out to Fuller where I saw the shadow the night before, or 2 nights before, whenever it was.
Sure. You head over. You remember there was like a, if I recall, I said it was like a flower shop or a florist or something like that across, and it's not open quite yet, but you can see that there's people inside. They're setting up, like they haven't flipped the sign just yet. But when they see you outside looking and peering, they come up and they immediately flip the sign. They're like, "How y'all doing? Y'all want to come in? Can we help you this morning?" And it's like big.
No, we're good. And I walk away.
Oh.
So no, I'm so sorry. We were staying nearby, taking in. You've got a lovely area.
Oh, thank you.
Got a lovely shop.
Your husband seems to be very ornery in the mornings. Perhaps
he's like 3 steps away and he stopped. And he turned away, and you can just see him like sigh into his coffee and then turn back around.
Didn't get a good night's sleep, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame.
We'll see what the coffee does.
With the sea air coming in, you just got to open those windows and let the cool breeze come in. And you hear the ocean coming in and going out, coming in.
You know anything about the kid that was murdered here about 40 years ago?
I beg your pardon. What was that?
It's just, he just has the macabre interest in local goings on.
I see. Oh my goodness. Roll a luck test, Bryce. Yeah.
Bryce really is hanging on by a thread. He's one stand away
Sounds like
from
it. Dear
breaking. He's got 1 willpower and he's got 4 HP.
Yeah, that's a lot of that's
that's
a
a
lot of
fail on the
single
luck
digit
test.
things.
I'm sorry. We've only been in business for the past coming up on 10 years. You can believe we're going to have our 10-year anniversary.
10
We're
years.
going to have all sorts of wonderful sales and events and opportunities. If y'all, it's just later this year. Are you all just visiting, or did you move to the area?
We're considering possibly moving. We're visiting for right now, but 10 years. That's
how wonderful.
You've to have over the last 10 years. You've managed some rough times, and you made it through. That's wonderful.
Rough times.
Wonderful.
Well, I mean, things were struggle here or there just to kind of get our feet wet, but everything's just fine. Just fine.
That's very good. Are you familiar at all with any of the businesses in the area? Any of the other building owners, anything like that around here?
We all kind of, everyone of us here on Main Street, we all kind of know each other here and there. We have a small little community and such, little organizations. We meet every now and then to make sure we're all on the up and up and such. But yeah, of course. Are you two business owners as well?
Not local, but a little, entrepreneurial, I suppose. We have an appointment later today to look at a unit, and she'll kind of point. Is the Villaggio within eyesight?
Not really,
kind of
but you can kind of point in its direction. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an older building, 100 plus years old. I think down the way we've got a appointment.
It's a classic city. We have some buildings that go back quite some time. There's wonderful history here.
It's haunted.
Oh, you're talking about the Villaggio. Oh, how wonderful. How wonderful.
Oh no. Oh, is it? And so she's gonna sort of like look a little startled of like, I thought the pictures were just adorable, but wait, it's haunted?
Darling, there's no such thing as ghosts. Of course not. It's just a fun little story folks tell. It's a college urban legend is all. Nothing like that.
I'm not entirely sure that the super is going to tell us the story. So, pray tell, might you share this story with us before we go take our tour?
Oh well, I just I can't say I understand much about it, but I think it just has something to do with some folks have passed away inside of it, and I think some very creative young college students decided that they were gonna concoct some sort of story about perhaps there's some sort of curse or such on it that but when you have a building that's about 100 or so years old, there's going to be all sorts of folks who die in it. That's just a fact of life. There's no reason to concoct all sorts of strange stories. No, there's nothing to worry about at all. Absolutely not. Now, it's kind of a curious choice. It's, you two look like, well, and she kind of starts to look a little bit more closely now at Price. Honey, are you all right?
Someone tried to kill me last night.
Oh my.
He's exaggerating. It was mosquitoes. He just doesn't like it's all mosquito bites.
I just take a long drag on a cigarette.
Do you mind? I have asthma.
I don't mind if you have asthma.
I think, honey, I think she's asking for you to step outside with that. Just you're. It's
not good for the
We're downwind.
plants.
We're downwind from you right now. It's that way.
Oh, I misunderstood. I'm not actually moving.
Oh, and there's like a bell. Oh, look, a customer. And she just like turns around and she's like, oh, well, you two have good luck, and get some ointment for that.
Sorry, did you say several individuals have passed, like one or two, or like a lot?
Darling, I'm a florist. I don't know.
Just the rumors. Sometimes there's a little truth to rumors.
She's interested in the macabre.
as far as I know, that there have just been some folks who have died in it, and then the college folk, they conjure up some sort of rumor to tie it together. I have to. I don't know anything more than. Don't worry your little head about it, though. I guarantee everything's just fine.
Oh, well, that is interesting. I'm so very glad that I ran into you. And she's going to look for just one, if she can just quick buy just one little, because we've got a white suit that's got a little pocket in it. And so she'll see if she can just buy.
Get like a little flower and you
just
put it in his
like the one
pocket.
little-
Oh, isn't that just, you two are so adorable. That's so wonderful. That's so wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for just sharing a little bit about your city with us.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I have a customer here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Oh, yeah. And she'll like tip like as much as the one bud was.
Okay. And then she goes.
I turn to the customer before we leave. Don't worry, the ghosts are a block away.
Oh, what? It just kind of watches you go. Okay. It's the two of you. All right, let's cut over to Inferno and Weaver. And Inferno and Weaver, you make your meeting with the Starretts. I think that's where you're going next. So, very upscale neighborhood. Not that far away from the building, but definitely at least like 15 minutes. It was right on the water. Beautiful home. It is a gated community that you have to kind of get signed through, but you do. Like you sign your name and show your badges, your fake badges, etc., and they let you through. And eventually you find yourselves going up this winding driveway, beautiful manicured lawn, and you can see that the building itself is like a couple stories. Looks to be 2 stories high, and it's got like this absolutely amazing brick, and it's kind of this wraparound, colorful bushes and flowers and such. And you knock on the door, and you can see the door opens up, and there is a man, short, stocky. He's got like a golf shirt on, collar. He's got these pleated khaki pants, and he's got a little bit of sunburn on his face. Slight receding hairline, but he's still got some bushiness on the sides. And he's like, "Well, good morning. I suppose y'all are the FBI agents that have come to talk to us. Is that correct?"
Yes. Agent Inferno here, my partner, Agent Weaver.
Oh, Agent Inferno, Agent Weaver. My name is Archie Starrett. Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure. Good morning. Come on in. And so he kind of leads you in, and he's kind of, you find yourselves moving past, and I'll tell you what. Both of you roll luck tests as he starts ushering you through the foyer, down a hallway, kind of past a little kitchen area to what looks like a breakfast table. And you can see that there's flowers, there's beautiful displays here and there of like bowls of fruit. There's like light coming in from various open windows, and you can see the ocean through some of those. How did you do in your luck test? Oh, God. Okay. That's it. Okay.
99.
And it's like, well, so can I get you something to drink? You like some coffee?
Yes, please.
He runs and fetches it and brings it over, and a minute or two, he's like, cream, sugar, cream, sugar, cream. He's like he's so very nice, kind of like handing stuff out to you. And I just put a little couple crackers down there in case you're hungry. And like, they're like cookies, and he just slides them over to you. Like there's those old fashioned, like really dry, like from the tin can, but they look really, really, I love those things. And he slides them over to you, and he's so friendly, so nice. Well, now what is it? Can I get you anything else? And then suddenly you hear click as there's a woman. You hear the sound of heels, and you look up, coming from the same hallway that you just came from. You can see a woman much taller than him, like a good 7 inches taller than him, whether or not it's the heels or not. She is in her mid-50s. You can see a very stern-looking face. She is dressed in what looks like a business suit, but like it's like this tight skirt, wearing stockings. And you see her come around, and she's like, "Archie, dear, you're not the help. Sit down. You're making a fool of yourself. Now." And he's like, "Oh, yes, I'm just being polite. I know what you're being. Now, you are investigating my building. My name is Lyle Starrett. I would like to see some sort of documentation to indicate that this is an official investigation. I have you know I donate to the Police Athletic League and various other charitable organizations all around the police departments of Wilmington, and I will not have any sort of strange, under the radar, not sanctioned investigations happening in my building.
It's a pleasure to meet you. It's good to hear that you're donating to your local charities, and I'll show her some forged documents.
Will you now? Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Fantastic. Give me a. Oh God. Oh, I opened the wrong thing. What was that?
Feels like one of those flashback moments of like, yes,
Yeah,
in
flashback.
fact, before we got here, I
Boom.
did make up paperwork.
Blades and Dark style.
Blades
Exactly.
and Dark.
I
Yeah.
don't remember what we used. You could do like a
Bureaucracy or
criminology.
criminology.
You could do-
Yeah.
yeah.
Criminology.
What was the other one you were going to say?
Bureaucracy, but I'll go with criminology.
Yeah. Well, what do you have it at? Like, what's it at already?
A 70.
Okay, yeah. So you hand over a fake, like, and sort of just a fake form that just is sort of, it's got like the FBI logo on it. Kind of breaks down like who the two of you are, what you're asking about. It's a very legal document. Why, like, they're like you're asking them questions, like what your interests are, that kind of thing. It's very, very up and up. It's not like a warrant. It's specifically for them, but it's like a warrant effectively to search the building and to inquire about it. And she takes a second and she holds it out there. She pulls up these glasses, puts them on the bridge of her nose, and she looks down and she reads it. I see. And she sets it down. All of this stems from the murder, or excuse me, that was Jeff's mistake. That was not her mistake. All this stems from the death of Frank Ryder, a currently unemployed and behind on his rent former has-been science fiction writer.
It sure does. Now with this document in order, we can take as much time as you can offer us.
Well, if you have questions, you can answer them. We have plans. Archie here has finally done something useful, and he's organized a wonderful little event down in Myrtle Beach. We're going to have all manner of folk, some law enforcement coming down, and we will not get there late. We need to leave by this afternoon. So you have an hour. Ask your questions.
Set up a tape recorder and ask them. You could say their name and we get the investigation going.
Lila Starrett and Archie's just like, Archibald, Archie is, yeah, is there, do you have our Archie? God. Lila and Archibald Starrett. She just speaks for him.
Thank you. So we did have some interest. This is just preliminary questions regarding the history of your home or the building that you've owned. How long has this building been in your possession?
Let's see. She's had it for. Let me see if I even have that detail. I think she's had it for about 20 years. Yeah, she's had it. It's been officially in her name for about the last 20 years.
We're all frantically writing notes.
Yeah.
I know. This is an Ashley. In the last 20 years, did anyone die in the building?
Exactly at 20 years ago. So 1993 was the last death, and that was 20 years ago. So that was
two
the
deaths.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, the teacher and the drug dealer shooting.
And then she'll again just go through to confirm. So I do understand that when this building was in under your ownership, you did experience a few deaths within the property. I believe one of them seemed to have been gang related. We're not interested in that. Another one seemed to have just been from old age. And then obviously now Frank Ryder, he didn't pass in the building. Mr. Inferno?
Right. We have witnesses stating a woman of sorts at the site of death for Frank Ryder.
Of sorts?
Specifically hallucinations of of a woman.
Hallucinations of a woman? Can I see your badges again, please?
Certainly.
As much as you like.
She's actually going to scrutinize them this time. Okay. All right. Holds it up to the light. Puts the glasses on. And then you see... I mean, she gets out her phone, which is, even at this day, is some kind of crappy camera, and she takes pictures of this. Click, 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 and she takes it of both your badges. And then she slides them back over. Agent Inferno. Agent... And what did you call yourself? Would you say Reaver?
Weaver, yeah.
Agent Weaver. We have graciously given you our time. And thus far, you have asked questions that are a matter of public record. And also about hallucinations at the death of a tenant in my building who died not within my building. Now, I would respectfully ask the two of you to get to the point and why we are involved in this questioning. Otherwise, we have very capable lawyers on our staff, and I will contact them forthwith.
Bring out a photo of, what is it, the old lady that we recognize as the hag, or that we've seen, and just ask her if she recognizes this person.
So from the photo, from Ronnie's stuff. Okay. She looks at it. These are the founders. These are the Salmon sisters. They constructed the building. They are ancient. They are. That's not the right word. Ancient's not the right word. They are. Not sure if they would be like great grand something or other, but they're my ancestors. I believe they founded the building. The one that you are pointing at, I believe, is, and she like reads the specific newspaper article that you have, that appears to be Elizabeth Salmon. Now, again, I have to inquire, why are you asking me questions in which there are very clear answers in front of you? I presume you are a very intelligent man, capable of reading the caption of a newspaper on your own. Why is it you have come here and interrupted our good morning with these spurious questions?
Yes, we're investigating if the death of Frank here was an accident or murder, and if clarifying a couple things.
Well, that's very interesting. I have been briefed on the death of my tenant, and my understanding is that he was hit by a vehicle on the street in broad daylight by a woman who drove a van to deliver pet food. Now, do you think it's this hallucination that murdered him? Or do you think it's the woman who drove the vehicle? Or do you think it was some other magical, historical individual happened to live in my building? Because I have to be honest with you. You two sound absolutely insane right now. And if you did not have badges on you, I would presume that you two were not representatives of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
My primary concern is that as we look deeper into Frank Ryder, he seemed to have a deep obsession with your family.
Did he now?
Unhealthily so, it did appear. So we are just following that thread to make sure that there's no one else who's also...
No. I'm sorry, darling. We're not going to move on that quickly from that little point. Please, could you outline his obsession with my family? What is my father's name, and what obsession did he have with him? What was my aunt's name, and what obsession did he have with her? Please, lay it out in front of me. I am quite an intelligent woman. I am sure I can handle whatever information you seek to provide here.
And she'll go through and she'll just detail his notes and stuff that he had documented on the history of both the building, specifically the Salmon sisters, how they're descendants of the Salmon sisters. And then she'll go on to make sure and confirm and ask, you haven't received any odd correspondence or anything.
No, ma'am, we're not moving on just yet. You've outlined one member of my distant family who was deceased far before I was even born. That he was not, as you've described, apparently obsessed with her and simply was doing some research into the history of the abode that he called home. The rest of this research seems to involve individuals that are not related to me. So to characterize Mr. Ryder as being obsessed with my family, again, seems very spurious. Now, please continue with your questioning.
And Lisa just kind of like looks over at Inferno.
Have the residents of your villaggio received death threats recently?
Have they received death threats? I don't regularly correspond with the residents of my building. Their business is not mine, so long as they pay their rent on time, they do not damage or otherwise harm the building itself. I know nothing about their lives. The only one I have regular correspondence with is Mr. Beach, as he is my superintendent.
And then I believe just my final question would be is, I understand your building has 5 floors, but the 5th floor hasn't been renovated since the fire?
That's correct.
Was it just cost inefficient to renovate it, or if you don't mind
That's
me asking?
correct.
Understood.
I own many properties around both of the Carolinas. This one is not the most profit generating, and so it seems a poor use of our funds to pour money into something that's barely breaking even. Especially when the tenants, like Mr. Ryder himself, have a tendency occasionally to not pay their rent on time.
Understandable. When are you intending to liquidate the remainder of his assets, or have you already done so?
I have already contacted a local expert who is going to peruse his collection, liquidate it, and we are going to take those funds and we're going to put it towards the debt that he owes the building.
Understood. All right.
Now, is there anything else I can do for either of you? This has been a most enlightening evening. Or morning. I'm sorry, I'm drunk. I've been drinking too many mimosas.
Can you specify who that expert is, if we could perhaps peruse some of his items?
His local bookseller and collector by the name of Jerry Nagel.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Well, I don't want to take any more of your time. Mr. Inferno, do you have any additional questions?
Seems she's given us what we wanted.
Oh, well, I am so very glad to hear it. Now, you may leave.
Have a lovely time at Murder Beach.
It's not Murder Beach. It's Myrtle Beach.
Are you sure? It could be Murder Beach.
It's Murder Beach. It costs many dollars to go there. All right. So the two of you leave. Okay, I'm going to give you one more luck test on your way out.
Oh, God.
I do
I
it
just
this time.
put lotion on. Hold on.
That's better.
Okay. Inferno, you do happen, as you leave, to catch a glimpse of some of the photos. There's these photos and such on the wall here and there. You can see they're black and white. Some of them are people, some of them are landscape, and you do find a photo that looks almost identical to the one that you were showing her, except it doesn't look to be from a newspaper, and it is framed and hanging on the wall amidst various other ones that seem to have like the ancestry of like the starret / salmon / whatever her maiden name was. And so you can see it's just like like a family, an array, but you do notice it. You just kind of catch it. Like there's the same face of Elizabeth Salmon, the crone.
Take a moment to look at it on the way out.
And I'll say that Archie has been escorting you. I'm so very sorry about my My wife, she is a very a firm individual, and she does not brook time wasting, which is quite interesting that she married me. In fact, now, Agent Inferno, do you happen to play golf? You a golfer? You look like
I'll
a
swing the club every
athletic
now and
young-
then.
Oh, do you now? Well, and he kind of stands up and he reaches back into his hand and he kind of pulls out this small little folded up like flyer brochure and hands it over to you, and you unfold it and you take a look, and it's just like, it looks to be some kind of golf event he's trying to invite you to, and it's a charity event. Gives you like all this listing. Well, if you would get the event's gonna be lasting all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's okay if you can't make your own foursome. Absolutely fine. We have plenty of singles and doubles coming in. We can piece you all together. Sunday Scramble is going to be absolutely enlightening.
Yeah, Archie. Yeah. Thanks for the invite. I'll point at this picture here. Does this mean anything to you?
Oh, well, yeah, it's the same image from there. It's a great grandmother or some such, yes.
Right. And just notice as is then.
Okay. And he hurries you to the end, closes the door, and off you guys go. Let's cut back to the Villaggio. We'll say Fuller's back, Price is back, Ray, you're out of the meeting with Todd Beach. What are the three of you doing? At
Ray's
this point?
gonna take Price up and say to him, if you are asked about the bug bites, please just say it's an allergic reaction to the hotel room.
Yeah, it's got bed bugs or something.
Yeah, so just something really something very, maybe not bed bugs, but something. Maybe just allergic reaction. Just stick with allergic reaction.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so who are we going to? We going to Kurt Winter?
Yeah.
Okay. You knock on the door. Door opens up. You see the familiar blonde, shaggy hair and beard, glasses, face, skinny, sort of sad. You can still see that there's some red underneath his eyes here and there. Opens up the door. He's not in his pajamas this time. He does seem to be dressed as if he's ready for this. Invites you all in, offers coffee, something like that. Points to places to sit. He's very, all of the usual pleasantries that we don't have time for.
As I shake his hand during the pleasantries, I say, it's an allergic reaction.
I see. I'm sorry. I hope it looks worse than it is.
Coffee helps.
Absolutely, right on it. And kind of rushes over, kind of gets it, and brings it back. Has there? And he turns to Agent Ray. Did you ensure that it was Frank? It wasn't Frank, right? It wasn't.
Well, Miss Winter first. Thanks for agreeing to see me and my partner. Second, allow me to offer my condolences, because it was Miss Ryder who passed. I did look into it like you had asked, and
It just kind of sinks.
I am sorry.
No, I figured it was unlikely to be someone else. God, that is just. He wasn't. I'm just sad, is all. That's really all it is. Anyhow.
Is now still a good time to speak, Miss Winter?
I do have to head out to work soon, but I did let my office know that I'll be in. I have about an hour, if that's enough time.
Certain.
What can I do for you?
One of the things that I unfortunately was in a bit of a time crunch the last time we spoke and wasn't able to ask about was about these shared experiences you and Frank were having. I am still waiting for toxicology report to come back, but I was aware that he was not on any antipsychotics or anything, so I'm fairly certain that any shared experiences that you have were real experiences. So, and it was something you had mentioned last time. I would like to understand more about that. I know you might want to talk yourself out of it because it was just dreams, but I worry that, well, I'm not entirely sure what my worry is at this point, but I worry that something might be up. Would you please tell me what it is that's been happening?
He looks like really hesitantly over towards Fuller and Price.
Who's lighting another cigarette?
Is Fuller there? I thought Fuller was
so.
going to try and like rent the apartment.
Oh, okay. You're going to go to Tub Beach. Okay, so yeah, it's just Price and Ray. Okay. Boy, thanks, guys. Okay, so you guys sit down, you start talking, and he's like, well, it's... and like he starts and stops like 100 times, and finally like, initially I just thought he wanted, a friend for a bit, and then it was the research, and then we talked about writing, and then, well, I don't quite know what it was, but Frank was under the impression that the building was haunted. Please don't laugh.
Oh, it's definitely haunted.
And
what?
to look over it is a working theory that perhaps there are things happening in the building that ought not to be.
What? Seriously?
We don't know, which is why it is important to understand what your experiences are.
And you can see he like visibly realized, oh my goodness, I was afraid to say anything because you're the FBI and I didn't want to look like a fool. I know X-Files isn't real, and if I said anything, you'd think I was crazy, but no. Frank and I...
I'm not kidding, you're fine. Ghost tried to kill me last night.
What? A ghost? I don't know if it's a ghost, but in the dreams I had, there was a presence in the room, and it pressed down on top of me on the bed, and then Frank had the same experience. And well, we did some research. We learned a little bit about hag attacks and alien for a while. Frank thought it was aliens. I don't know why he was obsessed with them. Science fiction, I suppose, or something. But like we moved on.
Aliens don't exist.
Oh, do you know that for sure? Or
yeah, this is ghosts.
Oh,
Please continue, Mr. Winter.
Well, yeah, it was always a dark, cloudy shape. Sometimes Frank said he saw this like terrifying old woman face. I can't say I remember the face. I remember a cackle though. I did hear a cackle, and I know that any time I would have those dreams, and I would have them most nights of the week, and then the next day I would be tired. Frank would be tired. And,
when was the last time you had one?
Not recently, in fact. It's been... He kind of starts thinking about it as I look at my notes really fast. Not in the last few days, at least. It's been maybe a week or two since I had one. But I did.
She's probably busy with us now.
You all are having them too?
Oh, yeah. She tried to kill me last night. That's what I just said. Didn't I just say that? I look over.
You said a ghost. I don't think we don't think she's a ghost though. That ghost wasn't quite the term. Like we said, haunted, but well, I guess ghost could be right. I don't really know the taxonomy of the supernatural world. Does the FBI know? Do they have it tracked? Is this on
I pay
the
as
record?
little
Can I
taxes as
write about
possible.
this? You don't pay taxes? Isn't that a
No,
crime?
Sir.
What?
No, Mr. Winter, you cannot write about this.
No, of course not. Why would I do such a thing? Of course not. Anyhow, but absolutely, that is the experience I had. We did research into it. We found that you would be surprised how many of these experiences happen. Not everyone calls them hag attacks, but like the description of them, it's like 10 to 20% of the population has these things, and it's just fascinating. Absolutely.
You read anything about hands used as candles?
Hands used as candles. A hand of glory. Yes. It's like a severed hand, and then there's like a like the like it's like candles. It's like it's something. When we were reading about hags, sometimes they use that as a, like they took a hand from a victim, and then they use it now for
How do
some
you counter
grotesque purposes. Counter it. I don't understand. I don't even know if it's true, but it's just I mean, it's gross, but it's candles. You just snuff a candle out, I assume. I don't know if it has any particular power. I just know that it was a grotesque trophy that sometimes is in a few of the research.
I was just curious.
Did you see one? I didn't see anything like that in my experiences, and I don't recall Frank ever saying he saw one of those, but we did come across it in our research.
You ever have pest control in the building? You have like rat problems or bugs or
every
anything?
year, yeah. Well, I mean, Todd handles it, but every year they come in and they do a proper spray, and there's ordinances or something that they have to follow here and there.
There any problems otherwise? Anything flaring up recently?
It's an old building, so we get a spider here, cockroach there, that kind of thing. Nothing out of the ordinary, no.
Mr. Winter, may I have a copy of the research that you and Frank did?
Oh, well, yeah, of course. And then he goes over to his laptop, flips it up, and you can see he's like,
is that your work laptop?
Yeah, yes, it is. If you give me like an email address, I can attach it and send it over to you.
Absolutely. She'll give her fake Easter.
Okay.
Yeah, woman.
And he's just attaching some file.
Thank you, sir.
Sends it off in your direction. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Winter. Agent Price, I'm not sure if I had any other specific questions. I think it's important that, I mean, we are going to be speaking to other people in the building, Mr. Winter. Is your girlfriend home at this point? I would
Maddie?
like to speak with her. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I think she's sleeping, though. She was out late last night. She was working at the hospital.
Oh,
no, she's a nurse.
Well,
You all shouldn't sleep anymore.
I don't think that's healthy.
We'll likely go see her. Now we won't keep her waiting too long. Thank you very much for the time. I may call you again. Just to understand a little bit more about this. I really appreciate the cooperation and candor today.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely. No problem at all. No problem at all. Thank you. I hope the.
Actually, before I go, and she kind of looks over at Vin for a second, and then, it's clear she's kind of like deciding something in her head, and she looks over and says to Kurt, she pulls out an envelope with $3,000 in it and hands it over to him and say, you would likely be making the arrangements for Mr. Ryder. Is that correct, Mr. Winter?
I would. I mean, I don't think there's anything official, but I know he doesn't have any family living that I'm aware of. So
I was able to apply for this stipend with the bureau, and it is will help towards that. I'm sure.
I didn't even know that the FBI had such a.
I would
such
keep
a
it to
fun.
yourself.
That's-
So it is something that I had to do a fair bit of paperwork for, and it's quite discreet. So if you could keep this to yourself, that would be much appreciated.
Well, of course. Thank you very much. I'll make sure it's put to proper use. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Please let me know when you set up his funeral.
Of course. So the two you start.
There should be enough in there for a cremation and some basic funerary rites.
Of course. Absolutely, no problem.
Give him a good send off, kid.
Oh, yes, sir. And as you guys are leaving, Ray, you got in the hall. Maybe Price, you're going to say, "Oh, that's can I have my coffee mug back, please? I only had like 3 of them."
I down the rest of it and then hand it back.
As you hand back and you look, your superbly high alertness notices that on a shelf in this living room that you now have a much better angle on, you can see the same kind of display case that was on the shelf within your dear friend Ronnie's apartment that had that big moth in it. And you can see the same thing here, but except when you look over there, it's empty. And that's what we'll go ahead and we'll end for tonight.
Oh gosh.
Are you sure?
I think we should. Yeah.
Oh damn. As we're furiously like in chat, like ask about the moth, and then
Oh really?
that
Well, I
was
wasn't even reading
the end.
That's
That's
good.
really
That's
funny.
good. That's good. Good on you all.
We're all thinking the same thing.
All right. So yeah, there we go. All done for tonight. We're closing in, sorta, kinda. We are circling the drain. We're getting closer and closer. Something happened.
Drain is a very appropriate description.
As in like
any of us and
all of our
any-
sanity. All of our sanity is quickly going in the
We are
drain.
moving at a southerner's pace. Wonderful.
We keep like touching it and then probably just shooting way off and then coming back. And
Yeah, it's fine.
Fuck.
It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, one way or the other, these scenarios end. It's just a question of
One
whether
way or
it's
the
on your
other.
terms or not. So we'll see. All right. Why don't we go ahead and do some closing plugs, and then we will get on out of here. We're going to start with My Tray. My Tray, tell the kind people where we can find you on the internet.
I am Mind Who Plays Games on YouTube, where I make multi-system or system agnostic tabletop content and centering the GM and player experience. And if you want to check that kind of thing out, you should check it out.
Absolutely. Perfect. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, check the show notes, etc. You'll find links, all that good stuff. Steven, tell us about, all the wonderful things that you are currently doing.
So many wonderful things, but they're only wonderful because of the support team I have. You all are the wind beneath my wings. Referring to just Jeff and my tray here. The rest of you can fuck off. So I'm working on
I was
literally Weird about to
my
say that
application got
exact
denied.
phrase.
Thanks.
I was literally about to say it, but didn't they play test your game though? Didn't all of them actually participate in play tests?
True.
At least one.
So I still love you a little bit. Don't fuck all because I
Great
need
save.
another playtest soon.
Great save.
I'm working on a Weird West tabletop RPG. It's called Huckleberry. It's a lot of fun, as these lovely people who are the wind in my wings will tell you. It's actually getting close to being finished in writing. It's going to be going off to editing and layout, and then it'll be released on August 1st. And if you would like it for free, just go to the website in the chat, huckleberryrpg.com. Sign up for the mailing list. Everyone on the mailing list is getting a free copy of the early access when it releases on August 1st. If you would like to play it ahead of time, guess what? You can do that too. Lollygaggers have a new Discord, which you should join. And when you do join, you click the thumbs up to join, click the little cowboy hat for a howdy. If you give us a howdy, then that's a thumbs up. Thumbs up. You give us a howdy, and then you get to be a play tester as well for Huckleberry. I'm going to be running events. I'll be running a lot more events now that the writing is almost finished. At least one a week. And it's first come, first serve. So if you want to play with us, if you want to play with some of these other lovely people, if you want to be subjected to a game that I'm running, join the Discord and sign up for some playtests and have fun with us.
Fantastic. Well done. That was certainly on the border of verbose, but not over the border into verbose. All right. As for
I use a lot of words sometimes.
As for us, we are off tomorrow. Normally we'll be playing Call of Cthulhu, but we're taking Saturday off as we move between locations, so I get a little bit more extra time to prep. Monday we're going to be doing some Alien. You can see us. I think it's Alien, right? It's Alien. It's Alien. Sorry, we've been off a couple days this week, so my schedule's off. But Alien on Monday, you can see Melissa, myself, and Maitre. Tuesday, Steven, what are we starting up?
We are starting up Frontier Scum. It's not Frontier, it's Frontier. We're going to be playing some cowboys in an acid western setting. We're going to be starting with the module in the core book, the Oregon Rail. Should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. Excellent.
Fan-freaking-tastic. And then next Thursday, we'll be back to Symbaroum. And Friday, we will be doing some more Warhammer Wrath and Glory. And obviously, if you have the time, if you have the interest, go check out our YouTube page, Adventures Lollygagging. Subscribe, watch a video, like it, follow it. Whatever it is that you're supposed to do at those places, just do that, please. Thanks. That'd be great. We are going to raid. We're going to pay back. We're going to pay it back from last night. We're going to raid 20 sides of every story. They are playing some, looks like Forbidden Lands. Looks like they're doing an extra life weekend. So follow the raid. Go watch some Forbidden Lands, which Steven ran on this tier channel. So let's go watch some other people run. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.